Blade's Lightcone was tailor-made for him, so no doubt it's going to be his best in slot and recommended by nearly every single person out there. But how does it compare to his 4-star options, and especially a Secret Vow? And so in this video, I'm going to compare those two Lightcones and also just go through all of the other destruction Lightcones and explain why some of them might be able to be used and why some of them shouldn't be used. So what Lightcones should we even consider? Well, first off, for Blade, we don't want attack. I did a very simple calculation on my build, which I will show towards the end of the video. Increasing attack percentage by 43% increases damage output by a measly 2.5%. 43% is a lot, and a lot of Lightcones will give just a fraction of that amount. So we really don't want any attack percent. So basically, we're going to cross off all Lightcones that give attack, and if the utility that they provide isn't very useful for Blade. And to be honest, that's pretty much every Lightcone except for 2. And those 2 Lightcones are a Secret Vow and his signature Lightcone. So why not On the Fall of an Aeon and something Irreplaceable, or even Under the Blue Sky? Well, again, like I just mentioned, attack percentage increase is a very low increase in overall damage output for Blade. And also, this damage bonus that we get when we weakness break an enemy is already way less and clearly inferior to a Secret Vows. At maximum level, their base HP is actually the same. However, Fall of an Aeon does have higher base attack, but again, our attack scalings on Blade is so low. If you watched my analysis video, you would know that it is about 30% of his attack for his enhanced attacks, and 30% is pretty weak. That's already weaker than a level 1 basic attack from literally anyone in the game. The scaling is just simply too low to even consider attack. And then the damage bonus requirement requires us to weakness break an enemy, so that takes a little bit of work. And then there's Clara's Lightcone. Her Lightcone gives attack percentage, some healing, and also damage bonus. The attack percentage, again, like I said before, is not a very high increase to Blade's damage output. I mentioned before that 43% was only 2.5%, so you can connect the dots here on how much 24% is going to increase our damage output. The heal is okay, but Blade already heals with his abilities as well, so it's not like we actually need the extra healing here. And then the damage bonus here, although it is quite high and is higher than a Secret Vow at S1 without the extra requirement, a Secret Vow will end up having a higher damage bonus if you're able to completely maximize it. On the other hand though, the base HP on this Lightcone is pretty high, which would increase Blade's maximum HP. And the requirement for the damage bonus is to get attacked, and since getting attacked is not exactly in complete control of the player, it can end up being a little bit inconsistent. Blade is also going to be pretty fast, and the damage bonus lasts until the end of their next turn. So if Blade is moving pretty fast, and if there aren't enough enemies to actually kill, then keeping up the damage bonus might be more work than it's worth. That is to say though, this Lightcone is a better option than On the Fall of an Aeon. Under the Blue Sky also gives us an attack percentage increase. It is quite low, so pretty much this first portion of the Lightcone is going to be completely ignored. However, the second part of this increases our crit rate and is pretty much the only reason why we would run this. However, it does have a requirement in that we need to defeat an enemy. In some matchups, it might be difficult. The buff does last 3 turns though, which is quite a lot. And out of all the other 4-star Lightcones, except a Secret Vow, this one is not a bad choice. It's probably the next best option behind a Secret Vow in order to help reach those crit rate benchmarks for our planar ornament set. Okay, now let's get into the Unreachable Side calculations. But first off, what does it do? It was officially revealed that it increases our HP and crit rate by 18%, and also when they are attacked or consume their own HP, they get a 24% damage bonus. The effect is removed after they use an attack. Since Blade consistently consumes his own HP, he can easily get the extra 24% damage bonus. As for the first part of this, when they are attacked, it actually doesn't specify sustained damage. This means that if you were to put this on another character, you could use March's shield to increase their aggro so that they are more likely to be attacked, therefore granting them the damage bonus. Although the requirement for this damage bonus is pretty easy to do for Blade, there may be some inconsistencies with it, namely around his ult and his talent. This is because his ult can either consume his HP or heal him. So if you popped his ult when he was below 50% HP, the effect won't trigger unless he was attacked prior. And of course, since getting attacked is not reliably controllable, there may be instances where you don't get the extra damage bonus because Blade wasn't attacked and you popped his ult when he was below 50% HP. As for his talent, you're only going to get the damage bonus if the final charge was obtained by taking damage. In instances where you get the final charge by consuming your own HP, the talent is not going to get the extra damage bonus from the Lightcone. Since consuming the HP occurs before your attack, it means that the damage bonus goes towards that attack before your talent. The attack before the talent is going to dispel the Lightcone's damage bonus immediately. Then the talent is going to go off without Blade sustaining any damage or consuming his HP. So, no damage bonus. That's how I see it. However, if I am missing something, then please let me know down in the comments if I made a mistake. And so before I show you some numbers, you have to know the stats of the Blade that I was using to come up with these numbers. And I'll go over his build at the end of the video so you understand how these stats actually came to be. So first off, his HP is going to be 6,932, his attack 1,837, his crit rate 70.1% without the 4-piece Longevous being procced. His crit damage is 121.9%. He's going to be level 80 versus level 80 enemies. He's going to be attacking an enemy that is weak to the element, however they are not weakness broken. His basic attack is at level 5 and his skill is at level 7. He also has the 20% extra damage bonus from Rudolent Arena on his enhanced attacks. Against a single target, the Unreachable Side is going to deal about 14,628 crit damage to the selected target, and then 5,851 to adjacent targets. The total damage, if there are 3 enemies getting hit, is 26,330. Now for a Secret Vow at S1, his HP is going to drop down to 6,007, and his attack down to 1,697. His crit rate also drops down to 52%. However, in this case, I will still assume that the Rudolent Arena effects are still being applied. That extra crit rate can be achieved by rocking the Longevous Disciple set or some extra substats that you would have to work for if you decide to go with this Lightcone over the Unreachable Side. So, single target damage, when you don't have any extra damage bonus, so that means just a 20% damage bonus, is 12,515, and then 5,006 to adjacent targets. This total damage is 22,527. Now, if we have both damage bonus active, that means we have 40% damage bonus. Our damage output is now 13,718 and 5,487 to adjacent targets. The total damage here is 24,692 if we hit 3 targets. Now, a Secret Vow at S5 means that we get a base 40%, and then if we get the extra damage bonus, it climbs all the way up to 80%. So the new 80% damage bonus gives us 16,121 and 6,448 to adjacent targets. The total damage here is 29,017. I'll put the damage calcs for all 3 Lightcones on the screen again. So it ends up that it takes an S3, a Secret Vow, with the extra damage bonus proc to overtake the Unreachable Side in raw damage. However, with a Secret Vow, we lose out on 18% crit rate, which puts us out of range of Rudolent Arena's 20% extra damage bonus on our enhanced attacks. The Longevous Disciple is going to give us an extra 16% at 2 stacks, but with my build, Blade is still shy of that 70% benchmark by just a couple percent, so we need a couple crit rate substats. However, the build already has so much crit damage that the final bit of crit rate might be difficult. So this is what you have to think about if you decide to go with a Secret Vow over the Unreachable Side. In essence, it seems like the Unreachable Side makes your crit rate building just a lot easier, but its damage is just a bit lower. 10% lower if your Secret Vow Lightcone is at S5, providing the maximum damage bonus. And then at S3, a Secret Vow with maximum damage bonus was dealing about the same amount of damage. But now, in order to get the maximum damage bonus out of a Secret Vow, the wearer's HP needs to be at a percentage that is equal to or lower than the enemies that they are attacking. So how consistently can we keep Blade's HP below the enemy's HP? Well, the answer is it kind of just depends on what type of healer you use and at what point in the battle you are. As the battle goes on, the enemy's HP percentage is obviously going to get lower, and it's likely that you won't be activating the set bonus unless you like to play risky. Probably at around the 20 to 40% health mark or lower is where the damage bonus will occasionally not be activated. For example, if Blade ults while his health is above 50%, then uses another skill to take 30% of his health away, he'll be at 20% consistently. However, if you are already in Hellscape state, then you're only going to take 10% of your health after setting your health to 50%, which means you're going to be at 40%. Then from this point on, it's up to you whether or not you want to heal Blade. If you do, then his HP percentage will likely go above the enemy's HP percentage and you'll lose out on the damage bonus. But it also depends on how much he gets healed. So it boils down to whether or not you're willing to keep Blade at low HP when the enemies are also at low HP in order to keep the extra damage bonus or not. You can still heal Blade, but you need to heal him up to a certain percentage where when he consumes his HP on his next turn, he'll be below the enemy's HP percentage. And you also have to be aware on whether or not his Hellscape state is going to be active or not. Because if you are already in Hellscape state, then you can only take away 10% of your health. Because remember, you cannot activate his ability again while it's active. So you cannot force the 30% HP loss. And then if you decide to use Locha as your healer, once Blade's turn is over, and if he brought himself below 50% HP, he's most likely going to get healed to full. And so it makes it a lot more difficult to maintain the Secret Vows buff against enemies as their HP gets lower. So if you're fighting a boss that is close to death and then Locha fully heals your Blade, you're most likely not going to be able to lower his health enough to get the damage bonus. However, like I just mentioned, Blade consumes his HP before attacking and also before Locha heals. So if your current HP is just above 50%, then you can get the damage bonus to proc against enemies at lower health if you weren't in the Hellscape state. But basically, with a Secret Vow, you're gonna have to manage his health a little bit. So those are the downsides of this Lightcone. And so basically, the Unreachable Side just makes things a lot more streamlined and straightforward for Blade. There's no managing of HP to get maximum benefit. You don't need to worry about being below your target's HP percentage to get extra damage bonuses out of this Lightcone. However, if you do manage to get this Lightcone up to an S5, the base 40% damage bonus here is very close to an S1, the Unreachable Side. So you don't have to worry about health management if you manage to get this to a max superimposition level. And to just remind you guys, it was about 13,718 damage to the selected target, 5,487 to adjacent targets for an S5 Secret Vow with just 40% damage bonus, and then the Unreachable Side was dealing 14,628 and then 5,851 to adjacent targets. All right, now let's go through my spreadsheet and my build. So we have Blade with 6,932 HP, 1,837 attack, defense, speed. He should have a speed boots, but just decided not to add the speed here. His crit rate is about 70%. His crit damage is about 121. He is running the 4-piece Longevous Disciple set, and then he has a crit rate body here, giving him an extra 32.4% crit rate. He has the wind damage planar sphere, and then HP percentage on his link rope. And then moving on to his substats, he has an extra 30% HP in health, 32% in attack, and 71.9% in crit damage. 151 flat HP. So these substats are completely arbitrary. I decided to add attack percentage, even though it's not that great on him, because you can't really control substats completely. So you're bound to get some due to just pure randomness. Moving on to his traces give about an extra 28% at max level. His crit rate goes up by 6.7 from his traces. For the relic set, the 2-piece Longevous is giving us an extra 12% HP. And then for the planar ornament set, we're getting an extra 8% crit rate. And then the Lightcone, 18% HP, 18% crit rate. His basic attack was at level 5, his skill at level 7. And then when switching to a Secret Vow, you can see that his HP drops down to 6,007 and his attack down to 1,697. And then his crit rate also drops down to 52%. So that's the build. And whether or not you decide to go with crit rate or crit damage on your body piece ultimately depends on what you roll on your substats. So please keep that in mind. Anyway, let me know what you guys think between these two light cones, a Secret Vow and the Unreachable Side. And if you haven't already, you should watch my analysis on Blade or my analysis on Kafka. I'll leave those on the screen now.